America's Strongest Man happened this past weekend, and boy, what an incredible show it was. It saw the return of the commentator duo Rob Kearney and Anthony Furman from Clash on the Coast. Anthony's show this year in 2021. And not only are they both incredibly knowledgeable and great strongmen, but they work really well together, so put on quite an incredible performance of commentator, color commentary, and play-by-play for us for this incredible show. Now, quick apology, I am sick, my voice sounds horrible, but I know that all of you are looking forward to this in-depth analysis and results, full results for America's Strongest Man 2021, so I'm resilient, I'm going to try to fight through it. First and foremost, before we run into the results, a big shout out to ADL Live, who did the live streaming for this. I had an issue after watching a bit of it on Saturday. I wanted to watch the rest on Sunday. They fixed my issue in 5 minutes. A real class act, professional operation. Big shout out to ADL Live. So you should watch this contest, for all of the athletes and their performances, but also for the great live stream. So we got to mention that 3 of the gentlemen who, out of the 9 who competed in the heavyweights here, there was a middleweight as well, and I'll do a separate video about that, but 3 of the 9 heavyweights were actually amateurs. The rest were professionals, and those 3 amateurs were able to qualify through the online qualifier to compete against the pros. So we'll see how they fared, but it was pretty exciting, I'll tell you that much. Starting off, we had Fingals fingers, so it was a set of 4 different fingers, a little lighter for the middleweights, a little heavier for the heavyweights. And Alan Colley, who I didn't know was competing when I did my predictions for this contest, did compete. He ends up doing just one of the fingers, unfortunately. He goes in the second pairing against Justin Kielhoffer, who is one of the amateurs that qualified via the online qualifier and who will be on Strong and Stronger on our live stream this coming Tuesday, tomorrow night, September 28th at 9 p.m. Eastern, so don't miss that one. So that second pairing against Justin, as we said, Alan failed on the second finger. He did the first one in 12.83 seconds. Then we had Stan Carradine, who went first alone. We have 9 guys, so somebody's got to go alone every time, and he went first alone. He was fairly close to getting the 4th finger, but couldn't quite get it over. He does 3 fingers in 32.74 seconds for 2 points. Moving on up. Moving on up, we had Brian Clark, who went in the 4th pairing versus Thomas Evans. Thomas also the second of our 3 amateurs to qualify via the online qualifier. And Brian Clark had a slower time than Thomas Evans, finishes 4 fingers, all 4, but in 43.88 seconds. Then we have Justin Kielhoffer, who we mentioned is also an amateur. He went in the second pairing via the aforementioned Alan Colley. He was smooth and easy on all 4 fingers, but not especially fast. He used more of a push-press style, so he didn't kind of throw it up. He got it to his chest, then push-pressed it, more of a deliberate motion. And Rob Kearney was saying maybe it was a strategy to overcome the slippery polished concrete floor that he and Anthony Furman were referring to. And so then we move on to Wesley Claiborne, who is a professional. He came in with 5 points here. He went in the 3rd pairing versus Tyler Cotton. He seemed to be running out of gas a little bit at the very end, but he did push it down. He was smooth on all of the other fingers, and that sort of push down on the last finger at the end does make up a few tenths of a second, so good strategy there. Moving on up, the aforementioned Tyler Cotton picks up 6 points, so he attacked each clean with reckless abandon. He had big pop-ups, so really deliberate, exaggerated motions, hard cleans, hard pops, and did very well here for 6 points. 4 fingers in 32.91 seconds for Tyler. 7 points go to Thomas Evans, who, as we mentioned, the second of our amateurs here, he does 4 fingers in 29.25 seconds. He went in the 4th pairing versus Brian Clark, and he slipped a little bit on that 4th finger while cleaning it, but he recovered and he finished strong. And moving up to the top of our ratings, we have 2 guys left, so 8 points go to Marcus Crowder, last year's defending 2020 America's Strongest Man, so he went 5th versus our 3rd amateur, Josh Silvis, and he was raring to go at the beginning, couldn't grab it fast enough, waiting for the whistle to go. Hit a fast time, but he had a bit of a slip and then a fumble on the 4th finger, which cost him a bit. 4 fingers in 28.46 seconds for Marcus, and of course that means the winner of the Fingals fingers, an amateur, Josh Silvis. So Josh comes away with 9 points there. 4 of them in 22.36 seconds. I don't think that Marcus, without the fumbles, would have beaten that time anyway. He didn't fumble for 6 seconds, so I don't think that made much of a difference, but they went against each other, Marcus and Josh Silvis. And Josh Silva's a huge guy. Anthony Furman and Rob Kearney continuing to refer to him that way as a mountain of a man. He's 6'5", 400 pounds is what they said, so really a huge guy. He brute forced them all, so not really like a push press or a strict technique, but kind of he was big enough to just brute force them all. So that's how the Fingals finger shook out at America's Strongest Man ASM 2021. Let's have a look at the log press.